There are a lot of reports actually to implement in Nigeria,
including the confab of
exactly
2014.
That is part of the problem I have with Jonathan. God gave him a lot of opportunities, but the political will to do most of those things was not there. Because if Jonathan, he was able to convoke the confab, but he was not able to implement the recommendation of the confab. I tell you, if assuming that recommendation was implemented, we will not be where we are now. So if the current president has decided to implement, even if it is in parts, like Peter Obi said during campaign, let us know if we are going to America. Be on the route to America so that we'll know that in no time, whenever we will arrive at America. The problem is when you say you are going to America and you are on your way to Congo, people will become, what are we actually doing? So if the president has decided to start implementing those Obasanjo's reports, even if it's in parts, I, for one, will not have problem with that. My own is to see a Nigeria that is working, that is sort of nobody can become somebody without knowing anybody. That is what we hope for. That is what we are praying for. And once this is done, you see, the restiveness you have across Nigeria will cease, irrespective of where, both in the southeast, in the anywhere. Once people feel that, yes, I can become anything I want to be in Nigeria, as long as I have the basic requirement without knowing anybody, without being the son of anybody, and I can become somebody, you see that I don't need to fight you. A couple of my friends who have moved to America and some parts of Europe, they are not super rich, but they are comfortable because the basic necessities of life have been provided to them. And I tell you, what we are seeking for in Nigeria is not that much. The problem is that the constitution of Nigeria has not allowed this country to work. It only encourages corruption and embezzlement. And that is why it becomes a tale when anybody comes on board and says he will drive. I am from the East, and sometimes when I tell my people that if Peter Obi had won, Peter Obi is a very refined man who wants things to work. But without the will to restructure this country, he may not even have made any significant impact.
People say we can't blame former President Goodluck Jonathan much. After all, the argument is that that recommendation or that report in itself from the Confab of 2014 came through at the twilight of his administration. Of course, we all know he left office by end of May of 2015. Well, events are overtaking all of that now. My question to you tonight is it too late to still go dust off that report?
It is not too late.
And start implementation?
It is not too late at all, and that is why I brought it up. It is not, Nigerians will be very glad. Majority of Nigerians will be very glad to see President Tinubu dust that report. At the time I went through that report, it was all-encompassing. It discussed even religion. It discussed a whole lot of things. It discussed federalism. It discussed devolution of power. It discussed state policing and all whatnot. The report of that confab. And Jonathan picked people from all walks of life. This is not an issue of politicians gathering together to say things that will benefit them. No. People gathered from different areas of life. Unfortunately, a couple of them are dead even. If not, many of them are dead, actually. But they were able to give Nigerians the best way to progress. But unfortunately, the last administration said that report belonged to the archive, which is one of the most horrible things I heard from that past administration. So I want to believe that the current president may one day, if not recent, as soon as possible, dust that report, and it is a roadmap to a new Nigeria.
All right, a new Nigeria, of course, we all hope to see in no distant time, particularly looking at the reforms that have been promised by this current administration of President Bola Tinubu. We take another quick break, everyone. When we return, we'll turn our attention to the southeast, where apparently all is not well.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines,
To explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart